Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 3 versus 3 on Smolyany, and in this one I'm going to be using the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps. On my team I had Uhrmann and Matador, who are going to be playing with the 84th Guards Rifles and the 29th Tank Corps. On the Axis side we have Harbinger, Avocado and Liebstandard, who are going to be using the 5th Panzer and 21st Panzer respectively. And this is of course a replay. It was played live on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/VulcanHDGaming. So if you haven't already, make sure to go over and follow me there. And then keep an eye on either Facebook, Twitter, my Discord, or the YouTube community page where I post updates whenever I go live. And that's the best way to keep up with all of the extra content that I do for the channel. So make sure to go check that out so you don't miss out. Also make sure to put notifications on so you don't miss out on any future videos. That's if you like, of course. Anyway, let's talk about this game. 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps in this game is going to be really rough. At least that's what I thought going in. The 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps, it doesn't have very good anti-armor capability. It has Shermans, the Lend-Lease Shermans, as well as AT guns and infantry with AT. It doesn't have any standout tanks of its own that can deal with things like Panthers, King Tigers, and normal Tigers. So that was my biggest worry. Fortunately, my teammates played a couple of divisions that do have some decent tanks. The 29th Tank Corps, of course, has the ISU 1943s, and the 84th Guards Rifles does as well as some 1944s. So they're going to cover us on the heavy tank front across the more open areas, whilst I play for the town on the left side and this hill just here. Let's set it to my point of view. There is a way that I'm going to be dealing with the tanks, but we'll get to it once I start to bring in those units. And I think it's really important that you guys know these sort of tactics that I'm going to be showing here, so make sure you guys pay attention if you want to get better at the game. Anyway, let's have a look at our troop composition as I keep this sped up. We have 3 units of Sapari PPSH. These guys have a cost of 10 at this point. This was the previous patch. Now they cost 15 each. They're a bit more expensive, but really good value for rushing contested areas. So in this case I'm going to be rushing them to the junctions in the town to potentially snipe any infantry that is not unloaded or any vehicles that come nearby, because they tend to keep themselves hidden due to the 100-meter range on all of their weapons. Then I have some command following up, the partisan command there, as well as the partisans in their trucks. I've also got a Sherman and a Karyadushka, which is basically a Bren gun. Actually, I think it's a Dushka mounted on a Bren carrier, sorry. We've also got a sniper who's moving up into position. I think I placed them like here so that they could provide recon information if this was to be contested. Either way, more Sapari on the left-hand side with an AT gun that's going to be heading up to the top of the hill. Then we have a lot more partisans moving into the town. We've actually got my commander in at the start. This is my command unit. Then that's followed up by another Sherman and a Karyadushka. On the left-hand side, more Sapari. 3 more there, as well as a Panzerschreck. Because I really do not want any heavy vehicles up on this hill, because that could really be at the detriment to ourselves. Anyway, Sapari just about managed to get in there before the 259 takes them out. So I managed to get all of my Sapari into cover in time. Harbinger's troops were a little bit slow, so I did actually manage to move my Sapari closer than I'd hoped. I do lose the Sapari on this side, but the 259 is killed off there. I also managed to crew kill the 259 in the town in exchange for my Sapari squad. That's really nice trades because, again, the Sapari at that point only cost 10 points, and the 259s, I believe they cost 25. Yeah, 25 points. So the partisans, they followed up. My multiple units of partisan, they've spread out. They're decent at engaging at medium range with the Monos and their guns, but don't do too much damage. and will get outmatched by Panzer Grenadiers at range. The best way to use Partisans is actually at closer ranges due to the Molotov cocktails. You can force enemies out of buildings, and then you can use your own defensive cover to your advantage. I'm going to be using the Sherman here to try and take care of the 259. And up on the hill, oh, I got a really good kill here at the start of the game. Panzer A moves up there, gets ambushed by the Superli, and that is a fantastic trade, taking out that Tiger. Or Panther, sorry. The flags are currently 13 to 13. If I manage to push over this flag, then we will find ourselves an advantage. I have relinquished this flag for now, since I was very much focused on pushing through here. The Harbinger did manage to bring up a Tiger E to the close range engagement, so I'm having to be very careful with the placement of my Partisans. And I'm also going to have to micro my Shermans very well to avoid the Tiger killing them. But I do want my Shermans, of course, to continue the fire support onto the infantry. So you can see here on the right hand side we're firing across whilst this one's taking care of that 259. Grilla is going to take out one of my Partisan squads. Big old explosions coming in there, getting the job done. Up on the top side, Panzer IV. That was presumably to accompany the Panther A, but the Panther A is dead. My Partisan's going to be engaging the Panzergrenadiers in the open. Probably don't want to continue that engagement because they do have those two machine guns. I did lose another unit of Superli as I tried to push up a bit. Meanwhile, on the right hand side, just going to be using my Sherman to take care of the Grilla since the Tiger's not in line of sight. Another unit of Superli is going to go down there. But honestly, the pressure that they've put on has given me the time to reinforce. So I'm bringing up the Partisan with the extra DPs now. These are the smaller squads, but they have more range capability. Just to fill out the town a bit, another Superli squad going down there. The double Partisan's going to be killing off the Panzergrenadiers in the open. This is actually where Partisans can be pretty strong. If they are killing or shooting at things in the open, they will do quite a bit of damage. Apologies for the game stutter there, that's due to the 259. But either way, that's actually a bug that's been fixed. Partisans yeah, are very effective, so watch out for that. Partisans can certainly melt your troops if your troops aren't in decent cover. So I've got now 3 Shermans here. The intention is to maybe try and outmaneuver the Tiger if I can. It's going to be very hard against a player like Harbinger. He knows what he's doing. He's not going to let me get easy side shots. But that Tiger, there you go, manages to get a shot off onto the Sherman, gets a transmission damage. Unfortunate, I'm going to have to fall back there. Didn't really time the attack very well between these two Shermans. And this one as well, going to take an incendiary crit, which was pretty damn lucky on my end. I think Harbinger was unlucky not to get one-shot kills there on both of my Shermans. Maybe one of them is quite likely to survive, but at least one of them I feel should have died in that case. Anyway, time to put pressure onto this objective. I've no idea what's there. Looks like Liebstand has just got some Ersatztruppen there, so my Partisans should be fine to just put pressure onto the church and push on in. And I'm hoping that that's the only unit there, because then we can easily take that flag, push it 14 to 12. Although we do manage to do that by taking this flag just here. Currently this flag's being contested. Matador's having a little bit of an issue with the Tiger there, which is why it's gone back to 13 to 13. But we're certainly putting on plenty of pressure. My Sherman's going to be charging the Tiger E. Unfortunately, the turret-stuck Tiger does manage to take out the Sherman as it charges. The turret got stuck facing forwards, which was pretty unfortunate for that Sherman. It goes down, makes a valiant charge though. Not quite going to find the kill today. Pack 38, looking for a kill onto the Ognjemachiki. Doesn't quite find it. Sherman's now going to be firing up onto the hill though to assist Matador's infantry in pushing through. Meanwhile, on the left side of the town, the Partisans are trying to engage with the Pioneers, but they're having trouble. This Panzerschreck moved up to deal with the Tiger. You can see further back I have brought in 3 120mm mortars. I believe I actually had at least one of these from the start of the game. But these are crucial early on in order to help me push with the infantry and like pin down enemy forces that are in our way. That's half the reason why I've managed to take these 2 flags, because the mortar fire on this area allowed my Smolyany to push up and take that point. So really nice. My partisans here are going to continue to engage the infantry in the open. I'm quite happy for them to do so, as the Panzergrenz here, you can see, do take quite a lot of damage. But with the advance of the 259 and the Panzer IV, I really don't want them to engage my partisans, so I'm actually going to withdraw the partisans and potentially use the Molotovs in future to get the advantage. On the Panzerschreck, I do use it to fire at the 259. I was hoping I might be able to put it back before it got killed, but the Panzergrenz here managed to just absolutely mow them down, as well as the rest of the infantry. I couldn't get them into cover quick enough. You can see the line of sight there. I couldn't quite bring them back. Either way, Smolyany are still alive and they have some AT, and I've brought up 3 Germans now that can start putting the hurt onto those Panzer Grenadiers. Getting some counter battery onto the 257 mortar carriers. There is potential there with direct hits and close by hits that we could eventually kill those half tracks, so going to be going for those attempts. May as well. Partisans here, they would be found eventually, especially with the infantry charging towards us, so just going to allow them to get involved even if a grenade is eventually going to surrender them. The Tiger E there providing very close fire support. More partisans on the way, just bringing in all I got in phase A to keep the pressure up as we do push 16 flags to 10. The Sherman here going to be engaging these Panzergrenz. These Smolyany actually did a great job of just trying to pin the Panzergrenz, but if they'd stayed alive a little bit longer, I might have been able to find a surrender there. Actually saying that there's likely, I think there's command, so that probably wouldn't have happened. Either way, T-34-76 Razvedka's now joining the party. These are actually quite effective. They have the 2-star veterancy from the partisan due to me having the command. So the command's currently connected to the partisan leader here, which is providing the 2-star command. Unfortunately, I can't show that to you guys because we're in the special viewer. But that is the case. That's the reason they have the 2-star veterancy. And I know that the Pioneers and Panzergrenz in this area didn't have AT weapons, so I'm using that, I'm exploiting that in order to push forwards and clean them out, whilst the Tiger can't really do too much about it. Oh, here we go again, another Sherman charging the Tiger. Not today. The Sherman bounces off the front armour and gets destroyed in the process. Unfortunate stuff. This Sherman's also been crew killed. I believe it got hit by the Tiger just as it fell back, so it's actually kind of in cover, but it's crew killed, so it's kind of annoying. This one's transmission damage, can't use that too effectively either, but we've just moved into phase B, so I'm going to have more Shermans and infantry at my disposal. At this point I was really struggling for like infantry availability. That's why I was bringing in just partisan DP, but just showing you guys the ace up my sleeve, the Su-76s. I was mentioning how the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps has real trouble dealing with heavy armor. Well, here's the answer, and it is not using their guns direct fire with AT rounds. It is actually indirect fire with HE rounds. Now this is something I've mentioned quite a bit in deck building videos and my latest deck previews for the new divisions. The Su-76s, they have radios, and if they fire at units within their own radio range, they track that unit. So they will be able to fire like an artillery unit in direct fire, but they'll keep firing and track the unit. So they'll always be firing on target. You don't have to like use the T command to reposition where they're firing from or what they're firing at. So it's really, really useful. So what I decided to do was get my Su-76s in at the start of phase B so I could deal with the Tigers that will be engaging me at closer ranges, because I can hide these in the gardens and be well within 1,500 meter range, which then allows me to pretty much corrected shot these Tigers to death. because every unit in the game has a health bar. And for infantry, it's quite obvious. They have 11 men, and when that reaches 0, they die. But for tanks, they actually have like a hidden health bar, like a hidden health stat. And if they get hit by too much HE fire, the tank will eventually be destroyed. And you can use that to your advantage with these Su-76s in a scenario like this. In an open field battle, this wouldn't work, but since we're in a town and there is a lot of cover for my Su-76s, I was hoping to take advantage of that. Now my Sherman here managed to get 2 cheeky shots off at the Tiger as it crosses, but doesn't have any success. Of course, the Tiger was showing front armor, no chance for the Sherman to really get a kill there. This Sherman, however, does have line of sight down the main road. I managed to kill one of the half-tracks before it unloads, so I probably killed like a Panzergren or something. Anyway, Kalyadushka here reveals itself to the Panzer IV. Probably not the best idea in the world. This Kalyadushka goes down in the town as well. I have managed to bring up a Studebaker to come and help out the Shermans here, and I do manage to pop another unit of infantry on the main road. Also managed to kill a Tiger. I couldn't say where though. One of you guys may have seen it. Make sure to post a timestamp in the comments if you did. Either way, MG42's now opening up onto the Pak 40s. One thing that the 3rd Guards Mechanized does have is MG42s, which have been captured, and they are manned by partisans. Very cool, doing a lot of damage to the Pak 40s there, and the Panzergren's currently being pinned down by the Shermans. I think the Panzer IV did manage to... Oh no, that was the Pak 40, sorry, that picked off one of the Shermans, so we're just kind of killing that off. But here we go. Here goes the Su-76s. They've arrived, and look at that. The Tiger gets destroyed here very quickly by the Su-76M, like almost direct fire onto that tank. And whenever I see one from now on, the 2-star veterancy Su-76Ms are going to be hitting those direct shots on those tanks. So I've just got to reveal them, and then that's job done. So yeah, once again, the command is providing a buff to the leaders, making everything around them at least 2-star veterancy, including now my Su-76s. And I'm using that to my advantage. The Panther A here has line of sight onto the Sherman. Unfortunately, the Sherman is transmission destroyed. Not much I can do about that, unfortunately. Although he does manage to get a shooter kill onto the Panther A there. Actually, I think that must have been the IS-2. Yeah, I think that was Matador's IS-2 there that got the shooter kill, because I think my Sherman at this range has 0 penetration chance. Maybe into the side armor as it reverses away, but not quite. Either way, we have spotted the Panzer IV-H, so I'm going to be starting to fire at that with the Su-76s, and these Su-76s are the thing to watch out for throughout this game. Without them, there is no way that me, playing as the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps, could stand up to a juggernaut 5th Panzer as long as I did. So, either way, infantry play still going on. Guvardi are now pushing up. Since we're into Phase B, I do have the better infantry at my disposal. Well, arguably better infantry. I actually think the partisans are better at close range because they have the Molotovs, whereas the Guvardia, they rely on AT grenades. But they still have a decent loadout and they have a machine gun, so Guvardi is just a line infantry that you're going to be continuing to use to basically whittle down my opponent throughout the game. And I do have a reasonable amount of availability, so that's good to use throughout. But as we continue into the late game, that falls into my opponent's favour. Harbinger using a Juggernaut will have double my income. So here we see the Su-76s again. You can see their direct shots almost. It is ridiculous how accurate they are. Because he's within 1,500 meters, that's the ring where the Panzer IV is here, we can just continuously hit that directly until it dies. So if Harbinger does continuously move his units, they're going to suffer the same fate. And you can see now I'm going to be targeting his Panzer IV, and so on. And this is a really, really annoying strategy for an armoured division to go up against. You can see again, Panzer IV goes down there. Because they don't have anything that can hit you with like direct line of sight, which is what armoured divisions, especially German armoured divisions, rely on. So in order to stop these Su-76s from being a problem, he's going to have to counter battery them with longer range artillery. So either that, or just storm the town with units all at once, but where I'm sort of breaking down his attack bit by bit, it's going to be quite annoying and frustrating for him. Either way, T-34 76 Rozvedka there managed to take out one of the half-tracks. I'm not sure if he'd already unloaded the infantry, but most likely. I'm also going to be making a charge up on this hill. Oh, this was an awesome charge. So, King Tiger. Surely my Shermans don't stand a chance. Well, if you micro them to get on all sides of the Tiger, it's only a matter of time before a shot lands on target. And well, after so many crits, the King Tiger surrenders. And we even get the track broke shot onto the Grille. The King Tiger and the Grille, and not one Sherman went down. This heroic man went first. He had his track broken by the King Tiger. The King Tiger was just shocked in awe at the charge of the Russian Shermans. And, well, the Shermans won out. Germans successful, and we managed to even cap the point, which was really cool. There's also an AT gun there, so these Shermans just massively paid themselves off. Now I'm bringing my Cobras to sort of try and take things on in the air, but bump into their massive AA network. This P-38 Cobra does manage to get onto the back of one of the Focke-Wulf 190s. But we lose a second P-39 there, and this air engagement really didn't go to plan, but fortunately this one does get out alive. So that was a 2-for-1 trade, which isn't too bad in the grand scheme of things, especially considering I wasn't completely aware of where the AA was at the time. Anyway, Pioneers getting melted there as well by the tanks. We've got enemy M4s actually coming up to engage us. Of course, the 21st Panzer does have its own captured M4s that it can use. So here we just have M4 on M4 action, and we're taking out one on the hill there to begin with, whilst the engagement continues in the town. You can see I've actually lost this objective here that we were contesting. And that's due to the fact that I'm getting pretty low on infantry on the left side of the town. I've got a lot of weaker units, but the partisans here not too good at pushing up in the open. The Gvardia are holding the right hand side at the moment, so I really need some more infantry for this left hand side. As a Sherman there going to get popped out by one of the bigger tanks, but the M4 engagement continues on the top. We actually managed to take out a second one, and honestly the value I got from these M4s was massive. But with the introduction of a Tiger and a Panzer IV, well, they get cleaned up. These two moving over to the left hand side behind the trees there, just to force close range engagements. Anyway, Su-76 is firing away once again. This Panther A is on reverse. The shots now coming in thick and fast onto the Panther A, and well, direct hit there gets the job done. Really nice hit there from the Su-76s. And that's just what I got to keep doing. I can't allow him to use these Panthers at close range and the Tigers at close range, because otherwise I'm just going to get completely overwhelmed. I need to have my own Shermans in support of my infantry if I'm going to be able to have any chance against his division. So the Su-76s are there to sort of bridge that gap and make the difference up, basically. So Gvardia now coming in to support the Shermans. Basically keep control of this point, because as long as we do, we're still in the lead. Currently minor defeat for our opponents in 18 minutes. Ju-88, free kill there. Takes out one of my M4s, unfortunately. Here come the Su-76s though. Once again, going to be hammering a Tiger. that's trying to kill my T-34-76 Razvedka is going to be forced back. I'd say the only bad part about using the Su-76s in this case, where you use them in direct fire, you can see as soon as they lose line of sight, they stop firing. So make sure that you do keep line of sight if you intend to use Su-76s like so. That was just demonstrated again as we lost line of sight. Panzer Grenadiers with Panzerfaust moving up near my T-34-76 Razvedka here. That's not good. But I do manage to absolutely demolish one of the units of infantry. Reinforcing Gvardia have arrived, pushing forwards with the Sherman support. Very awesome stuff. And we're making ground once again, trying to push back towards this flag. Make it 16-10. More Shermans on the way. As long as those heavy tanks are dead, we can continue to contest in these towns with the closer range capability. Double Blitz there was killed before it unloaded, which is really good. Likely means an infantry kill. Oh, nice shot there from the Sherman. I don't think I noticed that during the game, but manages to take out the Tiger. That must have been a very lucky shot. The side armor shot there onto that Tiger. Apologies for the game stutters. They have been fixed now in the latest patch. But either way, the Sherman there, really good job onto a Tiger. And we're now 17-9, as it looks like on this right hand side, Uhrmann has made quite a bit of ground. So we're managing to mow down a lot of these Panzergrens in the open while staying out of line of sight of the Panther. The Panther is going to try and move into line of sight of the Shermans, but you can see that I've already got my Su-76s on the case, and they're doing exactly what I need them to. I've also got my 120mm mortars coming down on top of the Panzergrens, and any push that Harbinger makes, we've got to make absolutely futile, because he's in phase C now, and that means he's got double our income. So if we don't get at least 2-to-1 value from every single unit, we're going to be pushed back. So we're in a really tough spot right now. We've got to keep up the pressure, the damage. You can see that I'm using the Su-76Ms to actually target some of the half-tracks and also the infantry here, because my infantry is getting very low on this left-hand side, currently having to cover that with the two Shermans there. I haven't deployed infantry to the left, because it's more important that I hold on to this flag than protect this left side, because the flag's all the way back here, so we've still got a little bit of a front to work with. On this left hand side we do manage to get a surrender onto one of the infantry units, the partisans using up their Molotov cocktails to get that victory there. And I do actually manage to get a couple of surrenders with the Sherman as the Su-76s start firing away. So really nice there, managed to clean up a lot of that infantry, a lot of those half tracks. You can see them being pinned down, the front line moving backwards and forwards there as units get pinned, and that then allows my Sherman to basically charge at will in order to surrender them. A couple Shermans at the backside here going to be engaging the U-304s as they push forwards. My Gvardia just holding on a reverse side defense on this hill. Pretty important they do so this front line doesn't push all the way forwards towards this flag just here. Ju-88S there, unlucky not to get the kill onto the IS-2, but another one has come in and gets the job done. My Cobra here going for the kill onto the Ju-88S. Not going to be able to. Loads of AA does go down in the process. Shouldn't have chased that deep really, but I am of course focusing all over the map at the same time. Su-76 is now being counter-batteried, which is exactly what Harbinger needs to do in order to stop them from dealing with his tanks here. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 Panther A's pressing towards this town. I have managed to bring in the Gvardia, and fortunately Gvardias do have AT grenades at their disposal. We're going to be forced here to unload all of my Gvardia, as one did die in the truck before it unloaded. Don't want that to happen again, so just unload all the other ones early and use cover to get them forwards. Su-76s do manage to kill another Panther A, but you can see that Harbinger is just pushing in so damn hard right now. The Gavardia here with the AT grenade, not quite in range. Going to open them up as they drive past and try and blow up the half tracks, but wasn't quite successful in doing so. The Su-76s though were firing at the Panther A already, and since they were, we actually managed to pin down the Pioneer enough for me to surrender them with the Gavardia, whilst the Su-76s continue to do their work, so that was really good. Mortars firing at the other side of the town, whilst that Panther A actually goes down to the Su-76M fire. We've got a couple tanks coming over from Liebstandard pushing on with the Panzer IV and the Panther M4 there, the captured Sherman, against our two Shermans that were sat down at the bottom hill, causing a lot of issues for his men. We've still got the reverse side defense here for the Gavardia, as well as a Sherman, just preventing any further push there. But Harbinger is going to constantly put us under pressure as he brings in another 4 units of infantry. Artillery's also coming in hot now, some pretty big artillery, and you can see it is starting to pin down and chunk my infantry. But I've got to keep on top of these Panther A's. Su-76s continuing to fire away, keeping them fixed up and resupplied with these Studbeckers. And there we go, another one goes down. I bet you guys didn't realise just how effective these Su-76s could be at killing heavy tanks, and that's exactly what you got to do with the subpar Russian divisions that don't necessarily have the armour to match up to the Tigers and Panthers. So now focusing on the Tiger E Führer. Anything that's in line of sight we're going to be firing at. The only trouble with this is my infantry slowly being whittled down, and they're getting closer and closer to the Su-76s themselves. Now, it's not so much of an issue for the Su-76s as long as they don't get into range with the Panzerfaust, because the Su-76's direct fire is pretty strong still as well. And we get some nice surrenders here with the Gavardia. Really good engagement there for me as we continue to engage the Tiger E Führer. See, as you can see, as it reverses away, they continue to indirectly track that. Now this can, I believe, also be done with the ZIS-3 AT guns, but it's not as effective because the ZIS-3 AT guns aren't as mobile and they can be counter-batteried easier, whereas the Su-76Ms, they just have a lot of value in this case. Really nice job there, managed to use one of my Su-76Ms to kill that Panther. That Tiger E, probably very low on health. One more volley from the Su-76Ms would probably get the job done. But I've got to focus on this Panther G that's currently pushed on top of this hill. And I think if Harbinger really wanted to do a lot more damage to me throughout this game, getting more Tigers and stuff onto this hill and securing the hill definitely would have been the way to go, rather than contesting the town so much. Either way, nice job by Erman there. Comes in with the IL 237mm, gets the kill onto the tank. Focke-Wulf unfortunately shoots that down, and also manages to kill the supply vehicle in the process because it crashes into it, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I finally decided it's probably a good idea to invest in some AA. Unfortunately for Erman, it's a little bit too late. My Sherman here putting up a valiant stand against the Panther A's. That's not going to happen. Decide to keep my Panzerschreck in an elusive position, but my Su-76 there pokes around the corner, use the aim time bonus to get a bailout onto the Panther A, finish it off with indirect fire. Panzerschreck comes forwards, gets to shoot a kill onto the second Panther A. Absolute ambush there onto those heavy tanks. Thinking that they can move forwards, they were very mistaken. Panzerschreck finds that second kill. A few more Panther A's now pushing into the town. And you can see it's just never ending now. King Tiger on the hill finally finishes off the second Sherman. And we've lost control at this point, but it's still 14-12. So it's still technically in the lead, especially with Uhrmann doing very well on the right-hand side. Panzerschreck still finding more kills, taking out a half-track there. Gavardia do manage to get an AT grenade onto the Panther as it pushes forwards very aggressively. Harbinger at this point trying to push forwards as much as he can in order to make back these flags and turn the game around, because it's still winnable for the Axis side. They do have Juggernaut and 2 balanced divisions, so breaking me down is definitely the way in order to make a lot of ground, especially with the amount of points that are contested in this town and on the hill. So there is potential here. I've just got to hold on long enough for us to win, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. Moving a group of Shermans up onto the hill alongside the 45mm AT gun that has been doing absolute work throughout the game, just sniping a lot of these Opel Blitz and putting transmission damage and other annoying criticals onto these tanks. So yeah, the Shermans getting into position. You can see the criticals coming in now onto these Panthers and Tigers as they try and push up, moving Gavardia into position to prevent the Tigers from pushing down the road, but Harbinger is desperate to get to my Su-76s here and take them out. I managed to take out the Panther G. Now it's time to focus on the Tiger E. Currently got shots down the main road here. Does manage to take out one of my trucks before it unloads. I'm going to be losing a bunch of Gavardia. Forces me really to unload, or at least get these off the road before the Tiger fires again, because it's really causing me issues. But that Tiger's going to go down. Now we see a Panther trying to approach the position of my Su-76M. Harbinger trying to attack that. But you can see that he's got driver knocked with his arse facing the Su-76. The Su-76 has great aim time. Crew panics the Panther A with the first shot. And the second shot surely going to go straight through that sight armor. Doesn't quite do it. Load a kill. Can the third shot do the job before it turns and fires? Yes, it can. Su-76 does the job. Unfortunately gets killed soon after by the Panzerfaust, but valiant effort there by this Su-76. These were absolute king throughout this game, and I can tell you Harbinger was not enjoying it. Either way, he played very well. He probably could have kept his tanks on the move a bit more, but you can see that he is now breaking down my defense, so definitely doing a decent job. And if he gets a move on here, he could certainly turn the game around for his team. There's 1 point here, 1 point here. Those captured would put it back to 13-13, and thus it would be, the countdown basically would stop. And if therefore he continued with the Juggernaut, you can then push it all the way back. So there is chance here for them to turn it around. Gavardia are managing to get AT grenades onto these half tracks as they push up. So maybe playing a bit more conservatively with those half tracks as well might have been nice. Keeping them at ranges, especially like, for example, in these fields, just out of range basically of the AT grenades, is enough to help you have that little bit extra suppression that allows you to surrender units. I still have the commander back here, but I think the partisan leader squad actually died. Anyway, my Su-76M's still scoring kills onto the enemy Panthers. Big old push coming through on the top of the hill though. The partisans still standing strong. These guys, absolute heroes. Camping out in that forest, surrendering every unit that came their way. But now we have a wall of Panzergrenzen and armor approaching our position. He's taken the flag on the hill. Fortunately, Uhrmann is making up for my losses. He has taken the bridge on the right hand side. Really coming into his own here in the late game. His IS-2s arriving and really bringing the pain to Avocado. I'm just holding on for dear life. You can see the train of Gavardia coming up the road of death. Incredible stuff. This game can just look absolutely awesome sometimes. I do unfortunately lose this point as well. You can see the breakthrough really coming to its own, especially as Liebstandard also puts his weight on my side. with my Vanguard. There's not much I can do except from set up the defenses that will find me value against their units. So I'm trying to set up 2 AT guns here that can ambush any tanks that manage to get over the top of the hill. Unfortunately, on this left hand side, my AA is not quite in range. I do have this AA piece here, but not quite enough to stop the Focke-Wulfs from shooting down both those bombers after they pinned down the Panzer IVs. I was looking for the surrender here. As you can see, I'm going to move the Superli hopefully into range to potentially kill or capture, or I guess surrender if those tanks, but not quite able to do so. We managed to just about capture that point thanks to Matador's infantry. The shots coming in from the right hand side there from Matador's IS-2s certainly causing issues. 16 seconds on the clock with 16 to 10. If we can keep it up just a little bit longer, we're going to get the victory. 45mm AT gun still firing away, down to 23 shells. Continues to put pressure onto the Panther A. My Su-76 is still firing as well. I've only got 4 left. I did have 6. 2 of them have died in the push. They are continuing to fire away. There we have it. Just about managed to get it in time. 37 minutes and 47 seconds. We hold back the Juggernaut and managed to win the game. If that had gone on for another 2-3 minutes, I reckon they could have had that, because Liebstandard and Harbinger putting pressure on my side was the play. And if they succeeded, it would have been very tough for us to come back, or at least for myself to come back with the team. The team would have had to have carried me at that point with the IS-2s. Anyway, you can see that we did very well. 5,200 kills to 3,545 losses. And that was actually very important that I managed to get that KD, because without it, in Phase C, I would have lost so much quicker. Because again, Harbinger had twice our income, so we have to make up for that with twice the kills in order to keep things even. So it's really tough, and Harbinger put up a great fight there, eventually pushing us through the town. It was really, really tough, but an awesome game. Very, very awesome. So Panzerschreck there managed to kill 259s, but the kills really come down to the Su-76s. Look at these Su-76 value. Tiger E, Panther A, Panther G. That's 1 Su-76M. Also, my Shermans here. This was the push up on top of the hill. The Shermans that I brought in, the Sherman squad, took out the King Tiger, the Grille, as well as loads of infantry, as well as enemy M4s. Really, really good job on that hill push. 45mm here, managed to get a Panther A kill. That's really nice. Su-76Ms. Again, coming in with 3 Panther A kills and a Tiger E. Just incredible stuff. Panzerschreck there finding a Panther A kill. Just look at the Su-76Ms though. Another Panther A there on that kill. There's another Tiger there. So, crazy, crazy stuff. We held on. But there you go. That's how you make use of lower tier divisions against higher tier divisions on the Soviet side. Make sure you bring Su-76Ms if you don't have anything else to deal with heavy armor, because they can get the job done in those environments where you can be out of line of sight within 1,500 meter range. It's quite a niche thing to do, but you can see the effectiveness of that tactic in that town. And it managed to allow me to hold on long enough to help us win the game. And we managed to even push our advantage in Phase A whilst we had the Vanguard advantage. So that was also pretty important. Either way, awesome game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. If you want to see more like it, again, make sure to come check out my streams on the weekends on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/VulcanHDGaming. Go there, follow now. Also make sure to put on those notifications on the videos so you get notified whenever I put them up. That's about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. It was a great game to play. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.